Today we have a 1997 Buick LeSabre. The customer's asked us to come out and just replace the control panel here because he's having problems with the switches working. He's ordered a replacement. So we're going to show you how to replace this control. There are two tricks to this. Actually one trick, depending on if you disconnect the battery or not. But we'll get to that here in a minute. We're going to take our pry tool, and usually if this thing is sitting properly, you can go in at the very front edge of this control. There should be a clip down here, and this front will release and pull up. Now as this front pulls up, you want to pull it up slightly and push it forward, and as you push it forward it'll come up and release. The reason for that is this tongue at the back of the control here. It fits down into the back down here, and if you can't pry the back up first, it has to be the front. Now we've also noticed here that we happen to have a wire tie on here that's holding this connector in place, which is interesting. So we're going to take that wire tie off. And this was the tricky part that I mentioned, because power in the car is still hooked up. You can disconnect the battery and take a metal screwdriver with the battery disconnected and pry all these connectors up. But we did not disconnect the battery, so we're going to pry these up with our plastic pry tool. And they usually pry from each end. You have to work your way across. The bigger one here has clips on both sides, but as you pry up, these clips release. There's one clip here and one clip on this side, and as this lifts up, those clips will release. This takes a little bit of going back and forth. We have a full library of removal guides for car stereo, door panels, and so on our website, carstereoremoval.com. If you need help there. We also have some other do-it-yourself repairs there. And we're still working on this same connector. It comes up little by little. Like I say, with the plastic tool, you can get in there and pry against everything. With the screwdriver, you have to be very careful unless you've disconnected the battery. We don't suggest a screwdriver with a battery connected, is what I should be saying. So these connectors are all a little bit different on here, although they release pretty much the same. We're having problems getting this first one up. Okay, we just had the switches pop out of the control. That's probably why the wire tie was on there, to hold that in place. And release the clip on the back side will help. Now that should pull right up and out. Again, like I said, here are the two clips. The front one I could see had disc released. The back one was being difficult until I released it. Now this piece here, the controls and so on, usually is set in here, but there's you can see there's a little bit more here that we have to remove the connector. We have tabs on both sides here on the replacement, and the tabs are inside here, so we're going to pry underneath the edge at the tab so we can release this up and out. Since it's released, it'll give us a little bit extra help here, but we're going to release this connector up. Again, we have the two locks on the sides here that help hold it in place, so as we pry up, we're going to also pull the latch back so it passes up over it, and this one is really being difficult. Okay, there we go. We're going to release. There we go, and that releases. Oh, too bad. That one looks beautiful. Now we have, looking at the control panel, the very rear connector. This one is a little bit different than what we've worked with so far, but we have a little trigger here at the front edge, and we're going to push this down. You can see it'll release and let the latch pass down and go. This is a from here, this top side here, it is a push down, and you release this little lock and the connector will release. Now these connectors only go back in one way. They're pinned one way, so you don't have to worry about labeling which way they go. Now we have the final connector here, and it looks like the latch is in a small opening down here, and we have to pull that latch away from the connector. In other words, inside this square opening is a latch. Pull it away from the connector, and that should release the connector right up and out. Now that takes care of removing the panel. As for replacing it, we're going to bring it right down here. Start at the back, the first connector. The second connector, make sure we line the pins up. Make sure the pins line up first, I should say, and then push the connector back down in, because you can reverse these, but they won't go into place. So now we've got that there. Let's see if we can get these pins all to match up. We have 4 across the back. Okay, there we go. And there we go. We're going to squeeze it into place. I can feel the latches lock that one into place so it won't be popping out. Next we have the main connector, which was the most difficult one to get out. It's going to go back in. Again, the pins will all line up. And then we're going to squeeze this connector down until it locks in place. I don't know if you heard the two clips click into place. And then the final connector as well. I'm going to push that in. That one clicked into place. Now we've pulled this up out of the door quite a ways, so we're going to pack the wires back down in, push them back down in. We're going to come back. Don't forget our back tongue goes in first. We're going to place it down along the opening there. Check our wires to make sure they don't get hit or bundled or pinched. Hope this video has been helpful. See our website, Car Stereo Removal, for other do-it-yourself repairs. Comments are welcome. Questions, call or email us.